Hey guys, I'm HOJ, and in today's video we're going to be doing another Best of One Standard event. Today we'll be using a white Weenie deck that I just threw together. So before we start, if you check the description, there's going to be a link to all of my playlists, including all of my Best of One Standard events, as well as the deck list on moxfield.com and all of the win rate percentages on untap.gg. In addition, there's a link to my other channel. I'm also a writer of science fiction and fantasy, and a link if you'd like to subscribe. So if you like my content and you want to see more of it, there's a link if you'd like to subscribe. So let's go ahead and jump in. I've always been a fan of white Weenie decks, and I've been playing them for probably 20 plus years, as long as I've been playing the game. And they're just fun. I've always been an aggressive player. Always preferred to play the aggro role as opposed to control. And so I kind of just had a look at what the options were. I knew I wanted to have about 15 1-drops, and then hopefully kind of really minimize the number of 3-drops, and then just a couple 2-drops to sort of get there. So looking at the deck, 21 sources for land. We are using 4 copies of Concealed Courtyard and 3 copies of Godless Shrine, just because they give us access to black mana, and then 1 copy of Soulstone Sanctuary, since we want to have at least 20 sources that can produce white mana on turn 1. The reason for the black mana is we have a full play set of Shrouded Shepherd, which I think is a great addition to a white Weenie deck, because not only does it give you a pump effect the turn it comes into play to help you kind of get through obstacles and blockers, but it also has the adventure side of it here, which is a sorcery called Cleave Shadows, where you can pay 1 black and 1 other, and then creatures your opponents control get -1/-1 until end of turn. So this can be really good to kind of soften up the blockers before attacking in, or just wiping them out in certain matchups. So this was a card I knew I was excited about and I wanted to get into the deck, because both sides of this card are very effective at helping you win the game. So for kind of pseudo removal in this deck, we have the full play set of Shrouded Shepherd. We also have a full play set of Sheltered by Ghosts, which I think in most aggressive white decks is pretty much an auto include, because not only do you have the ability to remove any non-land permanent, you also get a minor buff of +1/+0, and then also lifelink and ward 2. So just all around a fantastic card. It is an aura, so there's always the danger that it will get removed in response to you playing it, and that's somewhat mitigated here by running a full playset of Voice of Victory, which is also just a fantastic aggressive card in a lot of decks. But here it does give you the ability to prevent the opponent from casting spells on your turn. So when you have Voice of Victory in play, you can more easily play Sheltered by Ghosts and not get blown out by the opponent. So for our 1-drops, we have 2 copies of Authority of the Consuls. This is meant to be an aggressive weapon to prevent your opponent from playing blockers, and it does also give you incidental life gain against decks that where that matters, like mono red or Boros. In addition, it also invalidates a lot of cards that have haste, which is just fantastic. Especially like the 5-mana dragon in the mono red deck, which they can warp in for 3 mana. This basically just completely nullifies that. It will still deal the damage to one of our creatures, but at least it doesn't get to attack us for 4. So 2 copies of Authority of the Consuls, because we want the effect, but we don't need to double up on the life gain so much. 3 copies of Cheeky House Mouse. I liked this as an option because it provides us 2 power on turn 1, and it also gives us a minor little benefit here where it has a sorcery adventure side, so we can cast this before actually playing it, where it can give target creature +1/+1 until end of turn, and it can't be blocked by creatures with power 3 or greater this turn. So it's a nice way to kind of force through some of our attackers, get a little bit more value out of the card, and then also have a 2/1 threat on turn 1. 4 copies of Descendant of Storms. This is really good against control, or decks like Jeskai control, 4-color control, anything that just kind of wants to beat you into oblivion with card advantage. You can deploy this early and then just start enduring and creating a board until they deal with it, instead of playing out your entire board and then just getting everything wiped away. 4 copies of Lightstall Inquisitor, which is another really nice 1-drop. It's a 2/1 Vigilance creature for 1. And when it enters, each opponent exiles a card from their hand and may play that card for as long as it remains exiled. And then every spell that's cast that way costs 1 more to cast. So each land played this way enters tapped. This is, unfortunately, one of kind of the downsides of this card is if you play it on turn 1 and they haven't gone yet, most decks may not have a 1-drop, so they'll just choose a land and have it enter tapped, and it won't have as much of an effect. It could matter against like another aggressive deck where they can't deploy a 1-drop, but this is typically a lot more useful in like turns 2 or 3, where you might hit like a real actual threat where they have to pay an extra mana for it, or have like a land come in tapped when they really need that land to be untapped. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're playing it. 4 copies of Veteran Survivor, which is a nice way to give us a little bit of game against graveyard recursion decks. 1 mana 2/1, and kind of the bar that I'm setting for this deck is that every 1 mana threat has to provide 2 power at least. And so with this, it has survival. So at the beginning of your second main phase, if this creature is tapped, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. And then as long as there's 3 or more cards exiled with this creature, it gets +3/+3 and has hexproof. So this is another nice card that can be used against a number of decks out there. It's good against Reanimator. It's good against Izzet Cauldron. And it's also good against Control, again, because you're able to increase the level of threat just by getting cards out of their graveyards. So like against some of those decks, it might be better in like the, it's certainly good on turn 1, but it's also can be decent in the mid game where you're able to nab a couple cards and make it into a real threat. For our 2-drops, again, we talked about Sheltered by Ghosts. We talked about Shrouded Shepherd. Also a full playset of Sunstar Chaplain, which is 2 mana or 1 white and 1 other for a human cleric. It's a 3/2. At the beginning of your end step, if you control 2 or more tapped creatures, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. And then you can also pay 2 and remove a counter from a creature you control to tap target artifact or creature. So this is a nice way to, again, remove blockers, force through damage. And, if you have, for example, a card like Voice of Victory, where you attack and it creates tokens that are tapped and attacking, that works with Sunstar Chaplain, so you can more easily get the counter out. It is worth noting that it is kind of a non-bow with Lightstall Inquisitor because this card has Vigilance, but this card is so good and gives us so much value for 1 mana that I thought it was worth including. You could either remove one of these 2 and switch it out for something else, but I think they're both good enough to warrant a slot. And kind of my bar for 2-drops is they have to provide at least 3 power when they attack. And so with the Shrouded Shepherd, you get a little more value because this will buff something the turn it comes into play, even though it's only a 2/2. And it also gives the little extra advantage here of being able to cast the Adventure. But like the Sunstar Chaplain has 3 power, and Voice of Victory functionally has 3 power because it makes 2/1/1 attackers when it taps and attacks. For the 3-drops, we have 1 copy of Darval, whose Web protects, which is 1 white and 2 other, as a 3/3 Spider Human Hero, a legendary creature, and it has in Web 1 white. So it's a nice way to like attack with a 1-drop, and then you can play this and replay the 1-drop. So a way to think about it is it's kind of like a 2 mana 3/3, which again sort of meets our requirements. And then 1 copy of Yera and Oski, Weaver and Guide. Same idea. This is basically a better version of Darval. Same costs, except this one also gives you an effect that when it enters, look at an opponent's hand, choose a card type other than creature, and then spells of the chosen type cost 1 more to cast. So this is kind of like hearkening back to the days of like Death and Taxes, where you're taxing their mana to be able to play spells. this can be really good against control. I only have one copy for the moment, but you can certainly play with this and maybe increase the number of copies. This is just kind of like the first version of this deck. And then 4 copies of Sanguine Evangelist, which we know is one of the best 3-drops in white for aggressive decks. You just get a lot of value here. For 1 white and 2 other, it's a Vampire Cleric. It's a 2/1 with Battle Cry. And so when it comes in, either when it enters or dies, you create a 1/1 black bat creature token with flying. So you get functionally 3 creatures out of this. And then when it attacks with Battle Cry, each other attacking creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. So it's a way to sort of pump your team, get a bunch of value. It's just a great top end. And then, the land. So I'm really trying to lower the curve here, get aggressive very quickly with lots of 1-drops, some powerful 2-drops, and then just a couple 3-drops to sort of finish the game. There's a lot of cards you could switch out here. Notable exclusions, I didn't include a Demi of the Silk Shoots, which I think could also be a great card to give you kind of like Wrath protection. I just wasn't sure if I wanted it over some of the other cards, but you certainly could make a case for it. And there's a lot of other 1-mana, 2-power cards. These were just the ones that I settled on. I knew that I wanted at least about 15 or so. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the games. I've really been enjoying kind of doing these standard event series. And so, please give me feedback if you guys like seeing these types of events too. They're a lot of fun for me to play. So yeah, just let me know in the comments. And the nice thing with them is that I talked about it in one of my other videos, but the standard best of 1 event is one of the highest return on investments out of any of the events that I've found. When you factor in the cost of packs, so like 1 pack is equivalent to 200 gems, and if you go all the way, you end up getting one of the play-in points, and those are functionally also worth 200 gems, since the cost of playing in is 20, and that's 4,000. All right, let's try to get 2 mana here, so I'm going to mulligan. But basically, you get a 4x return on investment if you go all the way with like a 7x record. And in order to break even, you only need to go 3 and 3, which is fantastic. All right, what are we going to cut? I think I really like the 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop. Having a piece of removal seems really good. So maybe we cut like one of these early drops. I think Veteran Survivor, like in a vacuum, it's better to have the cheeky House Mouse here. But I think because like Reanimator is a big threat in this format, I'm going to throw back the House Mouse here and then just hope I draw into my 3rd land. This gives us kind of like a nice mix of potential responses to what we could be up against. Okay, so it looks like we are up against, man, I haven't seen Warden of the Inner Sky for a hot minute. But maybe like Boros Tokens is making a resurgence here. If it is, I mean, Shrouded Shepherd is pretty good against it. I'm also curious of their build, because I really enjoyed like the Boros Tokens deck of like a season or 2 ago, and I'm just kind of curious which direction they went. All right, here let's go for Voice of Victory, especially since they have blue mana. I guess we can attack first. We could also do Sheltered by Ghosts, but I'd rather just get Voice down. Once we have Voice, then we can Sheltered by Ghosts with impunity. Like there was a low chance that they had like bounce last turn, but they could theoretically have like a bounce spell there. So and it's also nice to be the last person to Sheltered by Ghosts. Like we would need 4 mana to get it going, but we could also just like take their Sheltered by Ghosts as well. Curious if they go for the Scry here. All right, now, yeah, this Warden could get out of control. We could play like Shepherd here and try to like push some damage. I think we might be better off just going Sheltered by Ghosts here because they're tapped out. We get a nice attack in, get to refill on life a little bit, and we get to nab a card here. So like if they have 4 mana, they could get us here, and they'd need like another Sheltered by Ghosts. But I think I feel good with that play. Okay, Matoya. Ooh, that's kind of cool. It's like a fun combo here with Warden. It's kind of neat. All right, we could go for Lightstall plus Shepherd. The thing is, like, we don't really want to trade with this, so I think we just maybe set up here and go for Evangelist. Could also go for, like, Shepherd plus Inquisitor, but we only hit them for a little bit, and I think Evangelist just sets up a little better. Also, if we ever get the dream of like double Shepherd, that's pretty good. I do like this combo though. This Matoya plus Warden seems pretty cool. Okay, so they're just going all in on Warden here. It's a nice combo. Kind of interesting. I was curious if they were gonna like scry again there. So again, we don't have a great attack here. I think we just go for Evangelist number 2 and just set up for a big swing. Like the nice thing is next turn we can also go like Shrouded Shepherd and then like both sides of this card, which could be cool. We are sort of running out of time though, because they're going to be drawing cards and doing a bunch of damage in the air. So, don't know if we're supposed to go... Like, I guess if we minus their stuff and then attack with Battlecry, like we can maybe get a little bit done, but just this seems... I think I'm going to go this direction. The one problem, I think, with this deck, though, is that like they can certainly sort of go over the top of it. So that's kind of part of the reason why it's so low to the ground, to try to sort of speed them out. And like one other potential that you could do is you could also run like Get Lost as like another just like removal card to just get stuff out of the way, like this Warden. The other consideration, there's the oh, I can't remember the name of it. It's like the Fox 3-mana exile a creature. So you still get like it's like on a stick. That's another nice way to remove blockers. But yeah, there's usually like a Sheltered by Ghosts kind of duel here that we run into. Yeah, this Warden's definitely getting out of hand, that's for sure. Also for the breakdown for our land, we have 7 sources of black. I'm currently running 3 Godless Shrine. Maybe you could get away with 4, just having a little bit more access to black. So if you're ever in a situation where you have like 2 of these, you could kind of more easily like double, give -2/-2 to everything. Okay, so we need to draw. We pretty much need to draw Sheltered by Ghosts. Yeah, I think we have to chump the 9/8 here. Inquisitor's not going to do it. We can try to push and see if we can get some more bats to buy us some more time. That's certainly an option. Okay, I don't know why this exercise is still... Oh no, this is the card that we removed. That's right. So if we go minus here, we could like make it so the Inspector won't be able to kill our Evangelist, but we kind of want these to die so we can get more bats. So I guess let's do maybe like the plus side plus double Inquisitor. And I guess let's put it on the Survivor because we want the Evangelists to die. So yeah, we pretty much need to top deck the Sheltered by Ghost to get out of this one. Okay, I mean, we'll take it. Give us a little bit more time, potentially. Not sure if they meant to tap that. It's a bit weird. Maybe they have another split up. Yeah. And that's gonna do it. Cool. It's this actually looks like a kind of cool deck. So it sucks losing, but it's a neat deck. All right, 0 and 1. I've only done a couple games with this deck on ladder, and it was actually doing fairly well, but I don't have like a whole lot of games under the belt with this one. All right, opening hand looks good. We got stuff to do, couple land. Since we're on the draw here, Inquisitor is actually pretty good on turn 1. If they only have like one land, we can like screw up their plays a little bit. And it's nice because even if they shock it here, we still get an effect. Bulk up. Okay, so they are combo. We're probably just going to do double 1-drop here. I'm just wondering if we should play this before attacking. I think let's just attack first. Alright, whenever this deals combat damage to player, put a skewer counter. Oh, interesting, okay. It dies to Shrouded Shepherd though, that's pretty funny. So let's do that. Okay, now we can do Shrouded Shepherd and Sunstar Chaplain. I guess let's give the +1 or the +2/+2 to maybe our Descendant. We could endure here, but I think we just want to play Chaplain. Even if they kill our Veteran Survivor and we don't get the effect, I think it's still just... Okay, which is the one, the bulk up they have? And let's put this on, I guess, one of these Inquisitors. Okay, I don't really know how big they can make this thing, but I assume it's going to be big. So I think just to be safe here, since they're at 2, let's just throw a bunch of stuff in front of it. Because they even die with that. I guess we'll just to be safe. Okay, I did not think of turn inside out. Hopefully we didn't just lose. Yeah, I suppose they get 2 blockers this way. Oh my god. Well, it is what it is. We've got enough to play Darval and make a token. All right, I think that's going to do it, or at least get close. Got force blocks there. And that should be the end. Okay, 1-1. I figure the danger there is just like having some huge double striking trample creature, so. All right, opening hand looks really good. Got 3 mana, and a nice 1/2/3 drop. But yeah, I'm really excited about Shrouded Shepherd. I just think it just does so many good things in this deck. All right, start with Concealed Courtyard, and since we've got a card in the Yara already, I'm a little, I think I just want to go for the Survivor here. Descendant of Storms is maybe a little bit better, like starting off against control. Okay. Inti could be a problem. I think we're happy to trade with Inti here, so we just want to go for like, we could go for like Authority plus Descendant, or we could just go for Voice. I like Voice. I think it's a little bit more mileage. Although they do have reds, they could have haste creatures, certainly. Let's start with attacking. Inti will also fill up the yard for us for Survivor. I mean, Authority is a little tempting, though. But I think I just want... I guess if they have a piece of removal, it's better to have like 2 spells out. Yeah, I guess I'm going to go with a double spell, actually. This is close. Okay, luckily they kind of whiffed on being able to play cards. We could Shrouded Shepherd to get rid of their Faithful, but that seems a lot weaker than just playing the Evangelist here. And I think we want to try to race Inti here. I suppose we could like try to like triple block it or whatever. I think we can do a decent attempt to race it. Especially with the Authority. Okay, that's nice that they whiffed on Screaming Nemesis. Actually, taking out Inti is pretty great. Because if we take out Inti, we can get this next turn with Shrouded Shepherd. What does this thing do? Yeah, I think I like taking out Inti here. Man, that was pretty sweet. Shrouded Shepherd for the win. Let's go for Voice this turn. Okay, now we can go for Shepherd plus Pump. And that should do it. All right, 2 and 1. Opening hand looks great. We've got the turn 1 drop into 2/1 drops on turn 2, which looks great. I think we're going to start with Survivor and then double Inquisitor. Since we're going first, because they could just choose like a land to come in come in tapped. Now, I guess if they are an aggressive deck, that could be good. But like if they're a control deck, they don't lose much by just having a land come in tapped. But I guess like there's an argument for both sides of it. Yeah, so maybe you just do it on turn 1, I don't know. Although Survivor is pretty funny against this deck. Makes me almost want to do like another Survivor this turn just to keep their yard at bay. Double taxing them though feels pretty good. I think I'm just going to double tax. As long as we can keep this Patchwork Beastie from being able to block, we'll be able to nab cards from their yard. But yeah, maybe we were supposed to Survivor last turn just to really make sure that doesn't get there. So we did take a chance by going for double Inquisitor. Here I think we're happy to go for Sunstar Chaplain plus Survivor. I don't think we need to Shelter by Ghosts just yet. Okay, now we can Shelter by Ghosts and just set up. Ooh, they hit. That's a pretty nice hit for them. Artifact creature, instant land, yeah. Okay, Evangelist is a nice pickup. Kind of want to attack here. Like if we Sheltered by Ghosts, we'd want to do it on like an Inquisitor, I think. Because we want the survivors to attack. Although if we take away like their Wicker Folk or like their Beastie, they then just like block both of these with the other remaining creatures. And it's like not great, but so I think Evangelist is maybe the move here. And then just set up one more turn. Like we could attack your Sunstar Chaplain also. I think we just wait. I suppose Sunstar Chaplain does clear the way a little bit though. And if we can do that, that would be good. Just kind of, it gets easier to push everything else through. And like ultimately, like the survivors will do a lot of work here. So maybe we're supposed to attack with like Chaplain alone. Like Chaplain is certainly good if we can get it going, because it'll help like tap stuff down. But also like removing a creature here is pretty big game. I think maybe we just attack with Chaplain. fine. We're happy with that result too, so I guess they can buff something up, but that's fine. All right, so they have Violent Urge. Probably have like Double Strike, Trample. It's their plan. They've got Trample, so they can like Double Strike and then like give it like Overprotect, or maybe, yeah, like Overprotect, that'd be like +4, +0, and Double Strike. It's probably their plan. So I think we have to block here. I think we block Beastie just so we don't get the damage here, and then trying to think if they can just kill us from Wicker Folk. I don't think so. Yeah, because they'd have +1, +0, and I think this is only 3 more, so like +4 and Double Strike, it's 8, 16. I don't think it's enough. If it's +4, it'd be 18. I guess we can be safe here and just double block to get a couple more points in. Yeah, so it was Overprotect. Wait, now Overprotect is more than I thought it was. Oh, I was thinking it was +3. Oh yeah, it's not enough. Okay. For a moment there I was a little bit worried. Let's put this on a Survivor. I guess maybe we could have put it on Chaplain because it will get 1 more point of damage for us. Is this lethal? Let's see. 4, 8, 11. Yeah, that's enough. All right, 3 and 1. Okay, opening hand looks good. Got mana, stuff to do. Swing and a whiff. Actually, Sunstar Chaplain and Descendant of Storms is kind of a nice combo. So we can have it endure and then use that counter to tap stuff down. I think we just want to go for voice here and just start to set up. Although actually, I suppose if we go for Sunstar Chaplain, no, we don't get the counter. We'd need 4 mana for this to work. So we would attack, make the counter, then take it off and tap something. So let's just go for voice, I think. Okay, Sheltered by Ghosts is pretty good. Try and decide how we want to do this. We might want another turn because they probably have removal. So maybe we just play out Darval, hardcast it. I mean, Shelter by Ghost is pretty good. If they have Bitter Triumph, they could get it back. Yeah, I suppose actually if we Sheltered by Ghosts on Voice of Victory, take away their Demon Wall, and then have Darval replace the Descendant, that feels pretty good. Oh, we could actually return a warrior. Ha! Oh, I forgot about... That's a great combo. Oh my god. Okay, so they had Shoot the Sheriff. Yeah, maybe we were supposed to develop a little bit more. Like I was fairly sure they had some kind of removal. But now we can go for Sunstar Chaplain. We don't have enough mana yet, but like next turn we can attack, remove it, and tap their stuff down. I think we're happy to trade here if they're willing to go for it. Suppose we could also make this a 3-2 and offer the trade as well. I think we're okay with that. Yeah, Ritual Chambers is a little bit tough to fight. That was a nice pickup, though. That was fantastic. All right, so now we can take the token. I think we want to put this on Darval because Sunstar is pretty useful. And then I'm trying to decide if we want to do Godless Shrine so we can get this plus be able to use this at a moment's notice. We could just use the mana next turn. I don't think we have to take an extra two damage here. Let's put it on the Descendant of Storms just to kind of... I suppose, let's see, if they have like Stab, they could potentially kill Chaplain. But I like diversifying our threats a little bit. Okay, Scavenging Regent was a beating. Whew. Yeah, that card probably beats our deck, unfortunately. We were pretty lucky to have the second Shelter by Ghosts on time. So, like, I'm thinking that maybe we need to run, like, Get Lost also. Yeah, I think we're just dead now. Yeah, because we're just like so far behind on advantage. I don't think we can draw out of this one. All right, 3 and 2. Can we keep going? Opening hand looks good. Got some nice cards here. Let's start with Descendant. Again, I think this is better on turn 2. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is. Okay, that's pretty annoying. Sure. Ooh, gotcha. Ah! Oh, that's funny. Okay. He's not going to fall for it again, surely. That'd be too funny if we drew another one of these. Yeah, I think we just go for Evangelist here. He can kill it, but I think it's still the move. The annoying thing is he makes Shepherd bad now because he can just kill it in response. So I guess we do this next turn and just do this stuff this turn. So I guess let's just attack. Force him to use it. And Authority will be pretty funny against their Slick Shot. Okay. I suppose we could leave these back to block for the show off. Seems fine. Although we want to get Sunstar Chaplain going, so maybe we don't. I think we want these guys to tap, so let's put this on Inquisitor in case he's got shock. And now let's kind of spread our threats out and put this on Shepherd, I think. And like this plus Authority is pretty good for keeping stuff tapped down. Sure. Okay, that's a nice pickup. That should be pretty backbreaking. All right, now let's start putting it on these bat tokens, I guess. Although, I guess if we put it on Sunstar, it gets it out of shock range, which is kind of nice. They have to have, like, Helix. Okay, now we can either go for Soulstone Sanctuary or Shepherd for pump. So he's taking 7, 9. Could take 11. Let's just go for Sanctuary, I think. That'll like leave us the option of doing this as like the -1/-1. Okay, let's put this on a bat. I suppose we could put it on this one to get out of Helix range as well. Maybe it would have been better on the Chaplain. But like if they have like another Sheltered by Ghosts, it kind of spreads it out a bit more. They have some sort of weird like double strike nonsense. I suppose we could actually just offer the trade here, since this will come in tapped. We don't even care. Yeah. Four and 2. Let's keep going. We're already in the money, or the virtual money. I definitely would. I do think that like maybe adding a little bit more removal to this deck can make it a little better. So maybe like opening up some slots for some of the 3 mana Fox guys for removal, or potentially like 1 or 2 Get Losts, or even a full play set. Okay, opening hand looks good. We got stuff to do, got mana. A nice little 1, 2, 3 if we draw another land. Let's see if we can fight on. Okay, looks like we are maybe up against potentially Reanimator here. Or like Simic Aggro or Omniscience. Okay, Omniscience. So we just have to have an answer for their turn 4 Kona. Unfortunately, we don't have like instant speed answers, so that's a little awkward. If they've got it, they might just beat us. I guess let's double spell. Try to race them. Yeah, and they have the Ulthros, so if they have it on turn 4, we might just be cooked. I guess Sunstar plus Survivor is probably the play here. Like Evangelist is okay. If they have another unauthorized exit, this is better. So let's just push. Hope they don't have Kona. To bounce or not to bounce? That is the question. We'll decline both here. Let's start with Veteran Survivor. See if they counter that. Okay. They waited. They were patient. Cool. But yeah, either way, double spelling there was better. So we get half of our cards out. Actually, this is good. They don't have Kona on this turn, at least. So maybe they drew into it, but at least they didn't have it this turn. Now we just, I think, probably go for Evangelist while their shields are down and hope that they don't have Kona. For like another turn or two. This is the big money turn. I don't think this matters. I don't think they get stuff back from their yard. Or I suppose they like... Let's take stock up, I guess. Do you have the Kona? No. We got a chance. We got a chance. Oh my god, we got a chance. Okay, so they probably have bounce of some kind. What is our best chance for not losing? Like, because if we voice, they just bounce in response to voice. So I think we go for Inquisitor, hope they choose the wrong target, and then pump. Could also Sheltered by Ghosts to Roiling Dragonstorm if they're able to stop everything. But I think it's kind of the same. So let's start with Inquisitor. Let's see, actually, if we pump here, if they bounce this, 2, 4, 6, 7... We need everything to stay on the board. Actually, wait. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, but we don't have the mana. Alright, let's start with this. Maybe we can bait out a counter. Lost in the maze. Crap. Okay, Meringue. So now I think we need to Shelter by Ghost to Dragonstorm since we can't kill them. Because we can hit for 9. Can get them down to 1. They need this to dig. Although I suppose if they just Meringue, they'll like bounce it back. I think this is the move. They had the Kona. No! No! We tried so hard. Oh no. Alright, well, they've got Omniscience, but they don't have the Dragonstorm. So I think that was still our best bet there. Like, if we had the mana, we could have, like, pumped for lethal, but we didn't have 4 mana on turn 4. If they run out of gas here, that's our only hope. And hilariously, even though they can cast Meringue, they actually can't pay the mana for the ward cost. They just need to whiff a couple more times. all about the Dragonstorm. Yes! Deny the Dragonstorm. Oh man. That makes me feel so vindicated. Okay, living to fight another day. We are 5-2. Can we go all the way with White Weenie? That is the question. All right, opening hand looks great. Let's do it. All right, maybe we do Lightstall on turn 1. I think it's better on turn 2, but we get to keep our cheeky house mouse. Prevents a turn 1. I don't know. I think I'm gonna do it on turn 2. I just like it more on turn 2. Yeah, every time I don't do it though, it's like it would have been better if I did. Maybe we're just supposed to on turn 1. Like the thought is like control doesn't care. They just have like tap land anyways. Okay, I think we just offer the trade and just get these in there. Actually, now we can Yera and Oski, and that's pretty funny. I can't remember if we're supposed to do that first and then Lightstall, or Lightstall first. Maybe like we do it this way so they make bad decisions, and then we can do Yera and Oski. Alright, I'm almost sure we want to go for instant. Fanatical Firebrand. They don't have them in hand, but instants are the way. Because now it costs them 4 mana to Abrade, which is hilarious. Bring it, Hired Claw. Oh my god, are you serious? I will eat your Hired Claw. Okay, so now we can... How do we do this? So if we Shrouded Shepherd, we force this to kill the Inquisitor, but that doesn't do a lot. We're able to attack, but then they can attack next turn. It's not that great. I think we want a double spell here. If we give this +1/+1, we can safely attack for 4, which feels pretty good. We are holding them back though, so it's not like just amazing. It's pretty good, but not just amazing. We could also cheeky house mouse and then like play a cheeky house mouse or like that in a Descendant, or just play 2 creatures. I think attacking 4 for 4 here is actually okay though. This way we get a little bit of value out of the house mouse and we can play it. They do get some attacks in, but I think getting the ball rolling here is pretty good. I suppose actually we were supposed to attack with Inquisitor there. I forgot. I assume they're just going to kill it, but Oh yeah, they can actually just block with a 1 power, so it doesn't really do much. So maybe we were supposed to just wait and then be able to block. Yeah, I think we just wait, let them kill this end of turn. But then they could choose to like not kill it and just leave it around. I don't know. We got to get through it at some point. If they tap out here, we can go for Sunstar. And what's nice is we know they can't shock because we made instants cost more mana. So now, I think we just play Descendant plus Chaplain. Push in... and we want to put the counter on the Weaver, so we move it out of Braid range in case they draw the mana. Could have shock here. I'm trying to decide if we want to make trades or if we want to try to push next turn. So if we take it and we take, I guess they could have like a 1 mana pump, like a +3/+0. So it'd be 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we don't die. So unless they have burn, next turn we push for 4, 6, 9, 11. Yeah, I think we just take it all and then just kill them next turn. Unless they have another creature, I think that we just win. And I suppose they could respond with shock. I think we go for it. So I guess if they have shock on Chaplain, do we lose? So we have 6, 8, 10. Yeah. If we had 4 mana, we could do voice and like force them to do it to see if they had it. I feel like there's a chance they've just got shock here. We could also put this on like Chaplain. That just seems bad. Man, now I'm just like not sure. Maybe we were supposed to block last turn, just expecting them to have shock. Okay, so if we don't hit with everything, do we die? They shock this guy, everything else gets in. We have 2 blockers. We could potentially still die next turn because they could have braid, get one of them out of the way, and I think we would die exactly if they had shock. So do they have it is the real question. If we pump for 7 and we lose this, we hit them for 11, they don't die. We need everything to hit here for us to win. Yeah. Okay, so if we just attack for 6, maybe we just kind of hedge here and just attack for 9 and then like set up for next turn. Because I feel like they really easily could have shock. So like based on like these decisions, I think I might have maybe tried to block last turn, but I'm just thinking that like we do just lose to shock if they have exactly shock. And I think we win here if we just play this out. Yes, they have the shock. Okay, now we can make, I guess, the Shepherd and X3. Oh my god, Lynx is so brutal. Oh no, we died to Lynx. No. Oh god. Okay, that was a nice rip off the top. Yeah, I think if I had thought about the shock earlier, we would have blocked some of those attackers the previous turn. So that was a misplay on my part, but like I thought we had it all figured out, but then I forgot about shock. All right, 5 and 3. Anyways, it was a fun ride, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. See my misplays so you don't make the same ones, I guess. We still made virtual money and or packs or whatever. Got some stuff, and then let's take a look at the stats here. All right, 63% win rate. So this is the first event with this deck. 5 wins, 3 losses, 67% win rate on the play, 60% on the draw. And the losses here were to blue-white, mono-black, and mono-red. And then a win against Boros, Simic, Gruul, and Rakdos. But yeah, I like the deck. Looking back at the deck, what I might change, I could understand if you wanted to go just a smidge higher on the land count. The other thing that I think was a really nice interaction was in web into Voice of Victory tokens. That was hilarious, and I want to see more of it. So yeah, maybe some like maybe like 2 copies or 2 to 3 copies of these in web cards potentially. I don't know how high you want to go on these, and then also I could see adding like Get Lost, which also gives us a way to deal with enchantments and some more spot removal. So, or another like what's the name of the fox guy? I can't think of his name, but yeah, Werefox Bodyguard could be like a top end card to like get rid of stuff as another option. So yeah, try it out, see what you think, and if you like this content and want to see more, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.